So, in the last video, my idea was to give you a few stories I liked, and I ended up going on a rant about my own personal life. So, I feel like I now feel like I owe you a little bit more content on that specific topic. So, this is a part two, and now we're actually going to talk about uh, stuff that I like, stories that I like, and why I like them. And at first, I thought this was going to be a list, but since I like to diverge a lot when I'm talking about stuff, I might only get to talk about one thing because I don't want this video to be over 15 minutes long. So let's see where we can go. So to start, before anything, I just want to reiterate that this video is unscripted and unedited. And also that oh shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, that's it. It's unscripted and unedited. So any slop, anything cringe, she's just gonna be there, man, for the whole internet to see. I hope nobody sees this. Anyway, the first story. I remember now. I might do a part 3 of this later, not the next video, because videos in a row about the same thing, it's kind of boring. Anyway, the first story I want to talk about is Toradora, which is my favorite anime. I've watched a lot of anime since I've seen Toradora, but none of them have been able to scratch the same itch that Toradora does. And I think that's because Toradora is very unique on how it does things. First of all, the strongest part about that anime, and I say anime because I haven't read the manga or the light novels. I've only seen the anime, man. So we're not gonna judge any other aspect, any other media that conveys. Oh, probably I'm gonna talk about the video game because that's important, and I've played a bit of that. But the strongest part in Toradora is the way they write the characters and how the characters act in general. And I think that for a lot of great romance stories, that's the best part, is when you get to know that character. You feel like you are close to them. You feel like you could be friends with them if they were real. And that's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about great romance stories. Let's talk about Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. The first thing you think about is Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth. The first thing you think about The Taming of the Shrew are Caterina and Petruccio. You never go into a love story but the focus is love and say, wow, that subplot about the end of the world was the best part of that. No, it's always the characters. And the greatest show of a bad love story or a bad story that should be character driven are badly written characters. A good example of this that comes to mind now, it's that hideous Rent a Girlfriend. I don't think I can call it anything else than a slop. And you've probably heard that from a lot of anime YouTubers like Jeff from Mother's Basement and or probably Gaunt from Giguk. But everybody hates Rent a Girlfriend. And if you love Rent a Girlfriend, please, for the love of God, just watch Toradora. Or watch anything else, really. It won't do you any bad. The only thing that can do you bad is keeping watching or reading Rent a Girlfriend. Okay, so the way the characters are written in Toradora is very compelling. From the first episode, you see their struggles. First, there's Ryuji. He's a kind-hearted, hard-working boy who just wants people to like him for whom he is and stop judging him from based on his appearance. And on the other hand, Taiga, she's just a closed off, alienated teenage girl who has suffered a whole life from neglect and people also judging her from her appearance. And where you get with that is a really interesting dynamic because, in one hand, Yuji is very scary looking, at least for the standards of Japanese teenagers in 2008. And Taiga is really cute, but she's actually the scary one. She's the one who's gonna punch you in the face if you bump into her in the hallways of your school. So right off the bat, we have an interesting dynamic of two opposites. We have Ryuji, who looks a certain way and is treated in a certain way because of the way he looks, and the same thing can be said by Taiga. Can be said for Taiga, but instead of looks, is her personality. People are scared of her because of the way she acts around people. And when the plot starts to move forward, you start to see the characters. And in the beginning, all of the characters seem like a stereotype of the tired tropes from anime. And I say that because if you think about it, I think nobody's gonna disagree with you if you say that Toradora is a harem anime. And it came out about 20 years after Ranma Half came out. And Rama is considered by many to be the actual first harem anime to ever exist. And some people say it was an accident, but I disagree. But I'm not going to diverge into that right now. But since then, since Ranma Half, there's been a plethora of different harem anime. And since Toradora, there's been a whole lot more. But that's just a matter of quantity of stuff being produced compared to what was being produced in 2008. But that's also another topic for another time. But the thing that I'm trying to get at is that Toradora, as a harem, at least in the first few episodes, is very generic. The things that set this specific story apart are how the characters interact with each other. First of all, one thing that I've seen many people complain about with many different harem series is how the girls interact with each other. All right. So first we have Minori and we have Taiga. They are best friends, and the plot is that Yuji likes Minori, and that Taiga likes Yusaku, who is Ryuji's best friend, the only one who actually talks to him in school, aside from Kushieda, from Minorin, who talks to him occasionally. And that's very interesting to see the two main love interests, the two main girls interacting with each other like they are best friends, because that's something that doesn't really happen in many harem animes. Like in Ranma Half, of course, Akane interacts with her sisters, and I don't really feel like her sisters are part of the Ranma harem. I haven't really watched that far into Ranma Half, so I can be wrong. But there's probably other girls that fall in love with Ranma, apart from Shampoo and Akane. But the general vibe that I get from that is of rivalry. It's like the girls are fighting for this guy, and and to be honest, Ranma is a very funny guy. He apart from different from most of the modern uh, harem protagonists. Ranma and Ryuji are very interesting characters because they actually have a personality, you know, instead of being a self-insert for most of the audience who are mostly horny teenagers. Ryuji, oh shit, Ryuji and Ranma, they are just there. All right, they are living their lives, and the whole plot is happening around them, but not because of them. You know, maybe in Rama's case, the plot is happening kind of because of them, of him, but it's not his fault. It's is his dad's fault. But Yuji, he's just living his life. He has a crush, and he's trying to impress her. Like we've all been teenagers. We've all been there. I hope. I hope there isn't a 10-year-old watching this. But if you are, please stop. Okay, don't watch this channel. I'm gonna start talking about some really fucked up shit very soon. But with the rest of the cast, they also have very interesting backgrounds and interesting interactions with each other. And I want to skip talking about Taiga for a bit and start talking about Minori because she is a very interesting character. At first, I didn't really click with her. I just found her a bit too much. She's a Genki Dere, and if you break down the archetypes of the characters in Toradora, you're going to see that Taiga is a tsundere, and Minorin is a Genki Dere, and Kawashima is a Himedere. I think she's a Himedere. And if they stopped at that, it would have been fine. I think it would have still been a pleasant viewing, but nothing to write home about, nothing to be remembered as fondly as it is almost 20 years later. Um, and the way that Minorin interacts with the other characters, especially in the beginning, you feel like she is on the verge of a breakdown all of the time. She's just trying to keep her composure. Especially if you're watching it for a second time, you start to see that coming to the surface if you have knowledge of what happens afterwards in the story. But you can see the cracks in her mental health. You can clearly see she's about to go crazy. And then there's Kawashima. And I think Kawashima is my favorite character apart from Ryuji because she just doesn't really care, or she at least tries to pretend that she doesn't care about what other people think about her, but she clearly does because she fakes her whole personality. And what I like about her is how she interacts and how she evolves in the course of the story. Like the first time we see her, she's really flirty with Ryuji, and if it wasn't for Yusaku, Ryuji wouldn't have seen her true colors. So the way they talk with each other is genuine because um, Yuji doesn't judge her for her appearance like most people do because she's a model. She's really pretty if you are 17, and her personality is quote unquote mature, and that's a point of contention in the series because in the same episode, someone tells Kawashima that she is very mature for her age. And in the same episode, Ryuji just looks at her and says, "You're a kid after all. You're just a kid after all." And that shatters her perception of herself because she was so sure that she was really mature for her age. She was so sure that she was better than everyone else, and then Ryuji came and showed her that she was just someone who's full of bullshit, you know? And I think that's beautiful. Her progression during the entirety of the show is really interesting because she starts off as this himedere who pretends not to care but who actually really cares and starts faking her own personality around people, to someone who just actually doesn't really care about what other people think about her, and she just starts peeling that masquerade that she has put on for so long, and people start seeing her for who she is, and they start to appreciate her true personality. They start to see her as a valid person, even though she's not that ditzy, innocent, that stereotype that she puts into herself, that sexy baby persona. And then there's the main couple, Taiga and Ryuji. And I just love their dynamic, man. I just don't think. I don't know if it's because I am a sucker for enemies to lovers stories, but I just like seeing the underdogs win. You know, they start off the series like completely ostracized people on their society. Ryuji is a poor guy. He doesn't have a father. His mom is a hostess, which is apparently embarrassing, but he just doesn't care. He just does his own thing. And then to see them build relationships with other people who once shut them away from their groups, to accept them as they are, is really interesting. And them accepting themselves for who they are, and accepting each other, like, I see you and I am here for you, even though we bicker, even though we fight, even though we treat each other like rivals sometimes. But that's just how a good relationship is built. It's like, it's the banter, it's the small moments. I'll never forget that scene in the beach house when they are sitting on the couch and Tiger's just clinging to Ryuji, and they're not flustered, they're not pulling away from each other. They're just existing there, like being friendly and just cuddling like people, like real people do. Because that's something that happens in a lot of manga and anime, is that the characters just don't really act like real people. They act like a character, like a caricature. Like, there's the horny guy, there's the hot horny girl, and they want to date, but there's just a lot of miscommunication. There's a lot of circumstances that drive them apart. I'm looking at you, Kimi ni Todoke. Fuck, I really love Kimi ni Todoke, but I hate Sawako and Kazehaya. Like, I've come to hate them because it's just so grinding to have to wait 60 fucking chapters. And it's a shoujo manga, so the page count is way bigger than your run-of-the-mill Shonen Jump manga. And it's just so refreshing to see characters acting like they are comfortable with each other. They don't, none of that moe bullshit, that it's so grinding at times. And then, for me, the series peaked in that aspect in the Christmas episode, when Yuji gives up on giving Minori his gift to her and just runs dressed in a bear costume to Tiger's house, and they just dance around, and Tiger just thanks him, and then she sends him away to talk to Minorim. And then she just runs downstairs and starts screaming his name like really loud. That scene still gives me chills. I am literally having goosebumps right now. And it's those details that make a great romance. It's not the drama. It's not the circumstances. It's how the characters react to each other. You know, it's the banter. It's the small moments, the quiet moments where they are looking at each other and they realize that they actually are comfortable and they actually love each other, because love is not about being horny. It's not about being flustered. It's not about butterflies. It's about trusting, and it's about being comfortable around the person you love. Love is not about fight. It's not about misunderstanding. It's about just looking at someone you love, sitting down with them, and cuddling without actually having to say a word. And in the end, Toradora is great because it ignites that feeling, that fire that I was talking in the last episode. That when you watch or consume a story like that, you already know how it's gonna end, but you still can't help but feel the emotions of the characters. Especially if you're someone like me who doesn't get to experience that kind of stuff very often. So it's just a really pleasant experience. The church bells are going on, and I realize this video has been going on for too long, but I just really love talking about Toradora. There is a reason why it is my favorite anime. Even even to this day, 2 years later, after I watched it for the first time. And if you haven't seen Toradora and you are trying and you're looking to get into romance stories, I couldn't recommend a better start than this anime. So if you are with me until now, I thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed me just being a nerd and talking about the stuff I like. And I hope to see you here next time. So peace out, homies.